This program may contain material that is not suitable for all audiences. Parental discretion is advised.
You're listening to Straight Talk with DC Hannah. Talk radio that's strong enough for a man, but I like it too.
Welcome to Straight Talk with DC Hannah. This audio edition brought to you by Studio 813, the finest face masks, custom graphics, and logo products you'll find anywhere. Our home business, Studio 813. Well, this morning, I'm taking advantage of a quiet minute during election season 2020. Now, election is enough, right? You think election, you're already being bombarded with election ads every second of every day in every media outlet. Some of them even sneak in on you. You're getting texts. How the hell do they get your number? You're getting emails. Well, you know, it's whenever you sign up for something, you give them your phone number, you give them your email, you click here, you click there, and those lists are sold. So you're on a list. And somebody somewhere thinks that because you purchased a certain item, that you will vote a certain way or be convinced to vote a certain way. But it's not just election season. It's election season 2020. And as we've learned, everything in 2020 is screwed up. Well, it's twice as screwed up for election 2020. Put them together, it's like the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup of dysfunctional public life. It's time for me to enjoy a good cigar, sip from my big-ass cup of hot black coffee, and have a word with you about this electile dysfunction. I voted last week. The lovely Mrs. Hannah and I, we went to one of Wyandotte County, Kansas's voting locations, and we voted. Now, Wyandotte County is a Democrat Party stronghold in Kansas. They always vote Democrat. In fact, it's such a stronghold that the Republican Party in Wyandotte County is almost as invisible as the Libertarian Party. I wonder how the Republicans feel about that. I know it puts a smile on my big old Libertarian face. Morning cigar, this is a Perdomo Champagne Noir Figurado. Mighty tasty morning cigar, smooth, light, little sweet. Oh, it's good. And I'm enjoying it. And that's good because right now, everything else in public life is almost painful. I turned on TV the other day before voting, and it was 3 solid minutes of 30-second political ads. Now, the media outlets, they're making bank. Because, of course, as they must, they're selling ad time to both sides. So, in a 1-minute period, you'll get one nasty ad against the Democrat, followed by a nasty ad against the Republican who put out the ad against the Democrat, or vice versa, in the first minute. And then the next minute, you just go on and on. It's awful. But it's also awfully entertaining. The trope in today's political ads are to use video of your opponent, digitally altered, to make them look like a monster, literally. There is an ad for one of the candidates speaking badly about another in Kansas that uses Halloween as the motif. And so the video of the target of the ad it's black and white. It flashes. Behind them, there's a picture of a scary mansion, kind of like the Munsters house, with a little flash of lightning. And another ad against a Democrat in Missouri slows down video, makes it black and white, changes the contrast, makes her look like, instead of a pretty darn attractive, about 30, 35-year-old redhead, they make her look like Bride of Frankenstein, but not in a sexy way. No, instead, they also throw a cackle. Apparently, she's one of those people, when she laughs, her laugh sounds like a cackle. So they've taken it, looped it, digitally altered it. So instead of, or whatever the version of cackle might actually be, it's much more sinister, like Margaret Hamilton in The Wizard of Oz. I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too. Ah! Something like that. Now, the fact that Halloween is during the election season, yeah, it probably is fertile ground for ads. But it really won't make a person take the candidate's message, the person running the ad, positive candidate, is an oxymoron. It's not going to make that viewer, that listener, take the ad seriously, because we don't take Halloween seriously. Halloween's my favorite holiday. Anything associated with it, I consider to be silly and fun. And frankly, a political ad that capitalizes on it is going to have to be entertaining. Serious? No. Fun? Yeah. It's also not going to change anybody's mind. There's really not a demographic among America's voter base that are, A, not committed to any other candidate, the so-called independent voter, and B, easily swayed by Halloween ads. There's the problem. They're not. If you show me a candidate without something really substantial, not just accusations that they eat puppies or that they going to kidnap children, put them in a pot, again, that Halloween motif, the ad is not going to convince me just because it's Halloween. Well, we voted just before Halloween, the lovely Mrs. Hannah and I. Went into Wyandotte County at one of the community centers in a traditional Mexican and also Democrat neighborhood to vote. When we got there, the place was wide open, plenty of volunteers, and absolutely no line. We stepped up to the registration table, and I held up my driver's license to the very nice 150-year-old volunteer behind the plexiglass, and she asked me to put the back of my driver's license in front of a barcode scanner, so there's no touching. No touching. It is 2020 after all. Good cigar. Once they verified that I was me and that Mrs. Hannah was Mrs. Hannah, they then handed me a nice little pen with a little rubber stylus on the other end in a plastic condom for the sole purpose of signing the touchscreen in front of me with my signature, of course, to compare signatures with my voter registration. Now, the pens, you had your choice of a red pen that says I voted and a blue pen that says I voted. Now, here in this Democrat stronghold, there were plenty of red pens, not so many blue pens. But you know what they didn't have? And this is my libertarian complaint. They had no gold pens for the Libertarian Party. I feel slighted. Wait, oh yeah, I forgot. The Libertarian Party doesn't contribute to elections like the major parties do. So, besides this being a Democrat stronghold, Wyandotte County, they may not know that we exist, even though we're on the ballot. Well, after I signed my name, that very nice 150-year-old volunteer said, "You may keep the pen." Well, thank you, ma'am. Do I use the pen when I when I'm on the ballot. No, they'll take care of you inside. Okay. So we went in, and again, there's absolutely no line. It's wonderful. In the voting room itself, there are roughly 25 booths. 2 people, not counting the lovely Mrs. Hannah and I, were there to vote in the middle of the day, on a work day, during the most important election of our time. So they say. Good cigar. Well, I stepped up to the voting booth there, and the 200-year-old volunteer walked up and kept his respectful distance. He, of course, had a mask on, as did I. I was wearing one of my Bandito bandanas, and he offered me a Q-tip. I looked at the Q-tip, and I heard through the mask, wah, 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 wah. Beg pardon? Wah, 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 wah. Sounded like Charlie Brown's teacher. That may be a function of my hearing loss. It may be a function of the mask. It may be a function of the fact that the guy was 200 years old. But he's waving a Q-tip at me. I thought that the little rubber tip on my pen was what I was supposed to use to push the little buttons on the voting machine. So I said, am I supposed to vote with that? Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, okay. So I'll take that as a yes. I reached out and I got my end of the Q-tip, which, by the way, it's not a Q-tip brand Q-tip, 2 inches long with fuzz on both ends. No, this is a serious medical Q-tip. It has a 6-inch wooden stem, and it has a little thing of cotton wool on the end. I took my end, and I made a joke. I said, hey, are these the same Q-tips they're using to do the COVID swabs? From behind his mask, the volunteer went, I took that as a laugh. But one of the other ladies in the voting booth, which happened to be the booth next to mine, a respectful COVID-free distance away, she said, very helpfully, oh no, those are much longer. So I said, but you couldn't tell I was smiling because I was wearing the mask. Well, you can guarantee I'm not letting them stick one of those things up my nose. And I turned to vote. I won't tell you who I voted for, but I imagine you can guess some of the time, at least for some of the offices. You know what? In second thought, I will. I'm a libertarian, I'll tell you that. And every time in one of the local offices or the state judges that someone, if they asked if I wanted to retain so-and-so or where there was a single candidate for a state office or like county attorney, that kind of thing, I wrote none of the above. I don't know those people well enough to vote for them, and I sure as hell don't like them well enough to vote for them. But I did vote for people I know. And personally no. I have met one of the 3 candidates for President of the United States. I know 2 candidates for national level office that we voted on. So I voted for my buddy Jason, and I voted for my buddy Steve, and I cast my vote for the one presidential candidate that I've actually met and talked to. I'll let you figure that one out for yourself. After doing my duty, the 200-year-old volunteer pointed me towards a door where another 200-year-old volunteer held out a little sticker that says, with a presidential seal on it, it says, Presidential Election 2020, I voted. And she handed it to me. I thanked her. She pointed me toward the exit, and I noticed that this time around, there was no plate with cookies and coffee machine. The real reason I like to vote, right? Who cares about all that election crap? There's a free cup of coffee and a cookie at the end. But not this year. Damn you, coronavirus. Damn you. So I walked out the door, and in my hand I have a government-issued Q-tip, a government-issued pen with a little rubber nubbin on the end, and a sticker that congratulates me and tells the world that I voted. It's my virtue signal if I choose to wear it. Well, guess what? I didn't. And I didn't because the lovely Mrs. Hannah, our graphic designer at Studio 813, she's pretty much everything else except the sales bitch, which is me. She designed a special I voted sticker just for us. It says, I rearranged corrupt human garbage. Just kidding. I vote libertarian. I was proud to stick that thing on and walk around with it all day long. I'm sure people looked at it and just saw, there's a little flag and a picture of the libertarian porcupine on it. And it says I voted, right? So that's all anybody looked at. You had your virtue signal on. And that's exactly what the I vote stickers are. They are your virtue signal. In the old days, it would have been an ash on your forehead on Ash Wednesday, or a crucifix, a cross, or a St. Christopher, St. Michael, St. Anthony medal. It shows you're the virtuous one in the crowd. Well, today, voting is the virtuous act. It is your civic, religious responsibility, because politics is the new religion. And I am a heretic. In the old days, you had Catholics versus Protestants. You had Christians versus Muslims. You had Jews versus Arabs. Today, you have Democrats versus Republicans, and it's a bitch fight to the death. Just heard a news report that a caravan of Trump supporters in Texas surrounded a Biden van on the interstate. And it scared the Biden supporters so much that they canceled an event. Sounds an awful lot like the Indians circling the wagons, cowboys versus Indians. Or insert, your siege here, the siege of Agincourt, the Battle of Jerusalem. It's the new religion. Going to save your soul with Donald Trump or Joe Biden. And Joe Biden has capitalized on that. This is a fight for the soul of the nation. Well, in the fight for the soul of the nation, I am a godless heathen, and I'm happy to be one. Libertarians scare the living crap out of Democrats and Republicans, and we anger them. When you're a libertarian, you get the hackles raised on Democrats and Republicans. Each side accuses us of being a tool of the other, stealing votes from their candidate. A vote for your guy is a vote for the other guy. A vote for your guy steals a vote from my guy. And just like in the old days, they want to burn the heretics at the stake, mostly figuratively, but on occasion literally. After very publicly stating on Facebook that I am libertarian, I actually received a couple notes, hateful notes, one public and one private, from people who want me dead. Yeah, they want me dead. One was, you better watch it. Okay, I'll watch it. I'll watch it the same amount of watching that I do every day. I'm the big cowboy with the gun on his hip. I'm really not too worried about whiny Facebook bitches telling me that I'm going to go to hell and they're going to send me there because I dared to waste my vote on the libertarian candidate or a third-party candidate, or if I was not going to be engaged at all. I'm what's wrong with this country because I'm not playing for their team. It's kind of the same thing where before and right around the time that the Supreme Court, issued the ruling that legalized gay marriage across the country, the same kind of thing, the same kind of hatred. What you do, people would say, is bad for me, even though it's really not. Or it's really bad for the institution of marriage, the institution of the United States. Take your pick. If you're not on my team, and, gay versus straight, the whole batting for which team, that's actually a joke. If you're not batting for our team, then you're bad, you're evil, you're going to hell. And you're ruining my thing. Now, a vote doesn't change anything. A man's vote doesn't really change anything, as much as Schoolhouse Rock wanted us to think it did. Your vote as an American voter this year has a 156 million to 1 chance to actually have an effect, to change anything. You have better odds of winning Powerball. You have better odds of dying of coronavirus. You have better odds of being struck by lightning while being attacked by a shark than for your vote to change anything in a national election. But by God, if you don't vote, you can't have a voice. And if you vote for the wrong guy, you're a heretic and you should be burned at the stake. Now, that is the nature of American politics. It's also the nature of discourse on Facebook. Damn, that's a good cigar. Well, maybe it's the little bit of Loki in me. Maybe it's that contrarian. Maybe it's the fact that, I'm just the trickster. And if you've studied mythology, you know the role of the trickster in mythology. But I kind of like being the heretic. It's kind of fun. So I think I'll keep it up. Well, I'm going to enjoy my big-ass cup of coffee. I'm going to enjoy my cigar. I hope you're enjoying your day. If you voted, more power to you. I don't care who you voted for, as long as it makes you feel good. If you didn't vote, more power to you. I don't care that you didn't vote. Live your life. Love your family. Kiss your dog. Hell, maybe someday you'll be able to marry your dog. And don't let the political bullshit get you down. There's a hell of a lot more to life than politics. There's a hell of a lot more to life than which team you play for. And I mean that in every sense. I'm out of here. To my friends, to my family, I love you. And to all of you, don't forget to kiss your dog, and I'll talk to you soon. I'm DC Hanna, and I approve of this message.